I remember her sitting across the table from me, and I had no hair, and I had just come out of like a really horrible chemo treatment, and she starts bawling her eyes out, and I was like, what's going on? And she's like, Shannon, I don't even know how to tell you, but pretty certain Nolan's diagnosed. Nolan has autism. And I was just like, oh my gosh. I remember phoning my life coach, and she said, you know what, Shannon, Nolan's going to be one of your greatest teachers. And I never forgot that.
The Kit Carson Show is taped at MindfulMEDS Studio inside Conscious Lab, downtown Vancouver, Canada. This episode powered by PHMX, stem cells, breathwork, even ayahuasca.
I have had the most support, hands down, from your listeners coming to see us. Like, just, it's been epic. And so it's like, I'm like, these are my people, man. When you find who your people are, service the shit out of them.
To learn more, find the link in the show notes.
Kit Carson Show.
Okay, I'm so glad you're here.
Yeah,
High five. Thanks for sharing your story with us today.
Thank you.
Like, man, I mean, if we just jump ahead here of what you've gone through. By the way, you're a keynote speaker and coach. You're helping people, inspiring people to get through some of the darkest times of their life. Breast cancer, breast implant illness, double mastectomy, child diagnosed with autism, divorce. Whew.
It's been a lot.
Yeah, I think you've been through a couple things.
Yeah, just a few.
You know, people say things like, you know, the darkest times of your life are the things that give you the power to help someone else go through it. There's nothing worse than working with a coach or someone that hasn't been through it. Like, they don't know how to speak your language. You know, there's an energy you feel when you're working with someone who's like, yeah, I've
been there.
Been there. Yeah. So you are so primed and ready to help people. Right?
Honestly, I feel like I am. You know, it's so... I think it's because I'm relatable, like in many different ways. You know, like you said, like I've had the opportunity to go through cancer and support a son through his journey of autism. And
I love how you just said, I had the opportunity to go through cancer.
Yeah.
It's interesting that you are that just subliminally, that's the way you phrased it. It could tell you've done the dark work, because people would instead phrase that, as I probably would, say it in a victim sort of way. You know, I was attacked with cancer, or I was like, this bad thing happened to me. But you said I had the opportunity.
And it really was. I mean, in the moment, absolutely not. I did not look at it as an opportunity. But yes, for sure. Like the things that I have learned and the person that I am here today is because I had the opportunity to go through cancer. And, you know, actually, I was talking to somebody about this on the ferry this morning on the way over. And we were talking about how sometimes we need something to slow us down. Because I feel like a lot of us are on this hamster wheel of go, 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 this old story that, you know, our worth is attached to what we produce and what we do and all the things. And we're not slowing down enough to actually be in the present moment and enjoy really what is. And you know, I was just going, doing my whole life. Like I talk about this story that I remember on my wedding day with my ex-husband, and it was this big joke about, and I talk about this actually in my TED Talk, that, you know, I'm never gonna meet anybody that keeps up with me. And it was this thing. And, you know, I used to be proud of that. And now it's interesting how I have a completely different perspective, because it's in the moments that we slow down is when the downloads come. Like when we can really hear like what's important. And having the opportunity to go through cancer, one, I got to connect with an amazing coach that helped me through that process. And, you know, I had a lot of time to reflect on actually who I was and who I want to become. And, you know, it's been almost 17 years since I was diagnosed with cancer. My twins were 1 at the time when I was going through cancer. And, I mean, there was a lot of layers going on at the time when I went through that journey. And I talk about that in the article that just came out in the Comox Valley Collective. You know, it wasn't just that I was going through cancer. It was also, you know, my husband had 2 broken hands, and then my son was diagnosed with autism.
Your husband had 2 broken hands.
Yeah, he had 2 broken hands. Yeah.
That's annoying.
It was a lot. Yeah.
You're saying you can't even lift the kids up.
Right?
I have cancer right now. Like, I can imagine the tension that would just bring.
Well,
Like,
it's,
you know,
you don't realize how many freaking diapers there is to change when you have twins.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of diapers to change. And when you have 2 broken hands, it's
so he couldn't change a single diaper.
Well, I mean...
Or he'd do it with a lot of complaining.
Well, not...
You could be honest here. We're in a safe space.
Oh my God. Honestly, it was so long ago. I don't remember all the details, but I remember the most beautiful thing about going through that and having all those things piled up. Community, like, came out of nowhere. Like, people just showed up. And, you really learn who your friends are or are not.
Yes.
When shit hits the fan. And like, shit was hitting the fan in many different ways. Like, even like I talked about in the story too, like when Nolan, my son, was he was diagnosed with autism when I was in the middle of my chemo. And that just was like, I was just like, I don't know that I can actually take one more thing. Like, that saying, God doesn't give you more than you can handle. Mm-hmm. And I was like...
You're like, that's bullshit.
I was like, I think I'm topped up here. Like, yeah. I don't know that I could take on any more. And I just remember...
Hey guys, it's Kid. If you're serious about getting known before AI makes personal branding almost impossible, you're going to love this. Step into a premium interview experience with Kid Carson. That's me. And collapse time on your growth. I'm going to tap into my network, skyrocket your exposure, and help the world fall in love with you. I really do pride myself on making you shine. That was always my favorite part of my radio days, having a new author in or having a local business owner in and just making them shine. I love getting the big names in here too, don't get me wrong. Joe Dispenza, 50 Cent, Eckhart Tolle. I got to interview Chip Wilson. That's amazing. But I'm also really obsessed with talking to the up-and-comers who know they have a powerful message for the world. So if that's you, go to kidcarson.com/promo. If your message can help this amazing community who listens to this podcast, then, this might just be a great fit. So hope to see you soon. Find the link to find out more in the show notes. And now back to the episode.
This incredible woman, Jennifer, she came to the house and she was supporting both of my twins because they were only 4 pounds when they were born, so they were really tiny. And so I remember her sitting across the table from me, and I had no hair, and I had just come out of like a really horrible chemo treatment, and she starts bawling her eyes out, and I was like, what's going on? And she's like, Shannon, I don't even know how to tell you, but I'm pretty certain Nolan's diagnosed. Nolan has autism. And I was just like, oh my gosh. And I remember phoning my life coach, and she was like, we had made this discussion the week before, and we were going to move on to this, exciting new like build mindset thing. And I was like, man, I'm not ready to go there. And I said, Nolan has autism. And she was like, okay, we're switching gears. And then she just paused. And
Did she activate freak out mode?
Yeah.
You're like, don't worry, I have a special button on my desk for this.
Right?
It's called the shit's hit the fan freak out mode. I can't even. Okay, sorry to cut you off. Oh.
Yeah, but what she said was so profound, and I've never forgotten it. And she said, you know what, Shannon? Nolan's going to be one of your greatest teachers. And I never forgot that. And to this day, I know you're a parent, and many of us are. And I don't know about you, but I brought my kids into the world thinking I was going to teach them everything that I know. And man, have I been humbled time and time again as my kids have taught me. Sometimes more, and I think often more than I could ever teach them.
Yeah. Yeah, they're like a mirror sometimes.
Yeah, they are. They're a beautiful mirror. But we got to look in if we dare to look.
Yeah.
That's the thing. But yeah, so it's definitely been a journey. I've learned a lot along the way. And I wouldn't probably be sitting here if I hadn't had the opportunity to go through all the incredible things that I have. But it's taught me a lot.
Wow.
A lot about life, a lot about who I am, and yeah, I'm at this place now where I'm ready to give back. I'm ready to share my story, to inspire others to know that the dark is not something to run from, because when we go through the dark, there's so much beauty and so much light on the other side. Like the joy that I feel in my life now, it's almost like, you know, that joy when you see, like, and it's brought me to tears so many times, the sunrise, where it's just like catches your, like literally takes your breath away. It's so beautiful. And I don't know that you can feel that deeply unless you've actually felt the darkness on the depths on the other side. It's almost like that, you know, the yin and the yang, and you need to feel it all, right?
Yeah,
it's
the full human experience.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and I interviewed Danielle Laporte. I consider her a friend now because she invited me over to her house for dinner one time. So I'm like, we're friends forever. But she's such an amazing woman. And she said, jokingly during our podcast, she's like, you know, I actually don't fully trust anyone until I know they've been crucified.
Right?
Like they've been through it.
Yeah.
And, you know, resurrected, so to speak. And you've certainly been. And by the way, most people listening now are like, yeah, there's no way they could handle one more thing above that. But then after that, more happens.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's divorce, there's breast implant illness.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people are still learning about.
Yeah.
So you went through that too after all of everything you've just told us.
The next part of the journey was when I ended up biking in Cumberland and having that accident fall.
Your chest was hit right into the handlebars really hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was biking in Cumberland, and I literally came down quite a steep hill just too fast. And I literally ended up going over my handlebars, and the handlebars sort of righted themselves, and then I landed on my implant right on the handlebars. And that day, I was certain I ruptured my implant, like I was certain. But then finding out I didn't, but then I started questioning, and I remember my naturopathic doctor saying, Shannon, you ever heard of breast implant illness? And I was like, no, never heard of that. And I started researching it, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, literally, like, there was this check box, and I was like, check, check, check. And I was like, this makes so much sense. Like, I'm certain why I have been feeling all of these symptoms of anxiety, and I mean, all the inflammation, all the things that were going on in my body. And I just couldn't believe how many of them were so in alignment of what I was feeling. And I've had these implants in for a long time at this point. So I decided I was going to have them removed and went back to the surgeon that put them in. And of course, because he puts implants in, he wasn't really super happy that I was saying that I had breast implant illness.
Yeah, that's not a thing he probably advertises. Did he kind of insinuate that maybe that was a made-up thing?
He did.
Really, eh?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he wasn't super happy with me, and I walked out of that appointment feeling like actually not feeling super confident that I'm going to allow you to operate on my body.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was a bit of wasn't really what I wanted to hear.
Yeah, someone calling you crazy, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Hey, it's Kid. So listen, you've probably seen a couple of YouTube videos or whatever about microdosing and how it can cure all these amazing things. Most companies aren't living up to it. MindfulMEDS is. When I discovered them, my mind was blown. I knew I had to partner with them. So if you're stressed, a little bit of anxiety, I don't know, maybe you're depressed. You got some things going on, man. This could change everything for you. MindfulMEDS gives you the blends with lab-tested psilocybin, natural clarity. This is the most premium microdose you can get. They also have functional mushrooms that don't have any psilocybin in them. It's about finding out what's right for you. Go to their website, take their 3-minute quiz at mindfulmeds.io. I'll get the link in the show notes. Finally available in the U.S.
Save 15% off anything in the MindfulMEDS shop by using promo code KidCarson.
And yet I knew fully, like, in my body that this was absolutely breast implant illness. And so I did a little bit of research, and I reached out to my naturopathic doctor who had talked to me about this, and she connected me with a woman, and it was crazy. I had reached out, and the wait list was like a year and a half. And I reached out to the doctor via email personally, and I wrote him a letter and I just kind of told him a little bit about my story and all the things that had gone on in my life. And he literally like emailed me back. I think it was like in 6 minutes.
Wow.
And he was like, I'm going to get you in like a month. And I was like, what? Yeah. So I ended up having to pay for it privately, which of course cost our family quite a bit of money. And ended up meaning that we were going to be selling our home and moving. And it wasn't just because of that. There was a lot of other moving pieces.
All these things
going
happening
on
at once. It's like...
that's kind of how things seem to go in life. I don't know if you have that experience. It seems if there's one...
when it rains, it pours.
It sure
when
does.
It rains, it pours.
It does.
Right?
It does. Oh, my God. Yeah. So go
You're
through
like,
that.
it almost becomes funny at some point. Like,
well, right?
Like I've noticed when I'm on my edge, like I think all of us as humans can remember a time where it's like you just said a few minutes ago, I cannot take one more thing or I'm going to like jump off a bridge. And then it's like, then a couple more things happen and it just becomes like funny.
Yeah.
Like your nervous system can't even take it. And it's like, oh, here's another thing.
Well, and I feel like that's when we need to just surrender. It's like when we just need to like stop fighting it all and just like lay down and surrender. And I feel like when I'm trying to like fix everything, that's when things aren't working so good. It's when I can actually let go and just trust that everything is working out as it's supposed to. It's amazing how the universe can just take care of the things for you when you're not pushing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't even know how to make sense of that, but yet it always works for me. But yeah, so by myself now, have the surgery, and Nolan is now doing a lot better, and breast implant illness surgery went pretty good for the most part, but found that when the divorce happened, as you know, you've recently been through a divorce. I tell you, I and been through a lot of hard things in my life, but divorce, I don't know. A broken heart is... I honestly would say that I would do cancer again over doing a broken heart.
Wow.
That was like one of the hardest things I have ever felt in my life. Like, you are with someone for like 17 years and you go through all of these hard things, and you think you're going to be with this person, and this person is going to be by your side forever. You go through cancer, autism, double mastectomy, broken back, like all the things that we went through. And then it's over, and it's like, man, we just made it through all this stuff. And then, so that was like, it was really tough. It was really tough.
Yeah.
And yet I'm still here on this side going, everything happens for a reason. And I do trust that. I wouldn't be here if I hadn't gone through that.
Like, how did you get to the point where you could say everything happens for a reason?
I used to think that when bad things happen, they were bad. And now I know that nothing's bad and nothing's good. It just is. And when I can, and again, I've done a lot of, not only have I had the opportunity to go through a lot of things, but I've also had the opportunity to connect with a lot of amazing humans to help me through all of this. You don't go through all of these things in life and do it alone. I've had the opportunity to work with a lot of healers. I've done a lot of medicine journeys. I've had an opportunity to work with a lot of different counselors, whether they're in talk therapy or whether they're doing like hypnotherapy or body talk or energy healing or acupuncture or myofascial release massage and sound therapy, sound baths. Like, I have done a lot of healing, and that is been part of the journey. You know, before I used to do a lot of pointing fingers, you know, and I've learned that when the finger is being pointed, there's always 3 fingers coming back at me.
Right. Do the old.
I'm taking this course right now called Positive Intelligence, and I'm just working through this part called the Judge. And it's quite interesting. You know, again, I'm reminded that, you know, my counselor says triggers are treasures. And I think often I can also sit in a lot of women's circles, and there's a lot of unhealed sister wounds out there. That one of the things that I say when I sit in circle, my girlfriend that facilitates, or I also facilitate women's circles, is that when we're triggered, instead of pointing the finger at the other person, what if we could pause and go, actually, what's inside me that needs to be healed, that's coming up for me, that person is mirroring for me?
Yes.
It's like taking radical ownership for our own shit, you know, and I can only sit here and say this because I have pointed the finger so many times, and I've got to the place now where I'm like, I catch myself and I'm like, oh man, damn it.
Yeah.
It's me. It's me again. Damn it. Fuck. You know?
Yeah.
But that's how we grow. That's how we evolve, and we can get to this place where we're like, okay, there's something that in me that I need to reflect on. And that was the moment where I talk about in the TED Talk with my son, and it was literally such a profound moment. And you know, I even when I was on the TED Talk, I can feel my emotions coming up now. But like when you're in that moment and you're like, you're blaming your kids for all your anxiety. And then you realize in this moment, in this counseling session, that actually your kids are just mirroring back your own anxiety. And you're like, oh my God, that's so humbling. So humbling. Because there I was again, pointing the finger, even at my kids, my like young little 8-year-old kids. And my goodness, it's so amazing to be at this place in my life where I can actually pause and go, okay, what is here for me? What's showing up here for me that I can reflect on? So yeah, just kind of keep coming back to what we said at the beginning, like this being in the moment, like being right here in the moment, you know, not looking out there, not blaming everybody else, but like, okay, what's showing up for me right now? Yeah.
Yeah. Someone once said to me, they reframed trigger instead of saying, oh, that person's triggering me. They rephrased it like, oh, that person's activating something in me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it kind of puts the onus on you.
Right.
Like, how am I reacting? Why am I reacting this way? It's because there's something else buried inside of me, or yeah, instead of the blame, you're triggering me. It's like, no, you're activating. Oh, okay. And you instantly go, all right, why am I being stirred up?
Right.
Because another person could hear the same thing or witness the same person or same thing from that other person and have a different reaction.
Right.
It's like, okay, so it's not them, it's me. Yeah. Why does it always have to be us? Come on, it's kind of so easy to point the finger, right? It's so much easier. That person's an asshole. Whatever, what's wrong with them?
I know.
They don't call it the deep, the shadow work for no reason.
Oh, I know.
Like, it sucks to be wrong.
I know.
Right?
I know.
Yeah.
But, you know, it makes life a lot easier because we can't control anybody else like we think we can. I used to think I can. Oh my gosh. Oh. But like, if we can control ourselves and our reactions, it's a game changer.
Right.
It literally is a game changer. I mean, and you want to bring boundaries into this place now, right? Because maybe there are some people that you need to have boundaries with and you need to spend less time with. And, and then that's okay. But yeah, owning our own shit, it's a game changer.
Out of all the different modalities you tried, I'm curious to know if you found one that was more useful for you than the others. Because I know you said you did all sorts of things, like connecting with that, because there's the physical body work too.
Probably the biggest change that I had was when I had the opportunity to try psilocybin. And I remember that, so what had happened is my daughter was, we had just come out of COVID, and it was, as for many people, a really difficult time. And my daughter had a really hard time seeing people with masks, and so ended up taking her out of school. I was already homeschooling my son already, and so having her home wasn't really any addition, but we were homeschooling everybody was homeschooling anyways, right? And I remember we are needing to get her some support through the homeschool, and because she just had so much anxiety, and went in to see this psychologist, and she spent 2 hours asking every question under the sun about our family and all the things. And I don't know how to explain it, but somehow she triggered something in me where I just it wasn't good. And I remember going to see my counselor that week, and he's like,
the
doctor did, just by me telling the whole story in like this 2 hour, like, it just re-triggered me. And I remember going to see my counselor, and I was like, I don't know, I'm not good. Like, I'm not good at all. And he's like, well, do you think that maybe seeing this person and saying things over and over was a trigger? And I was like, I think so. And it got to the point where I was heading on like a really deep, dark spiral, where I got to this place where I didn't actually know that I wanted to be on the planet anymore.
Yeah.
And I was very grateful to already have had a conversation with this girlfriend of mine that does and holds space for these journeys. And I just remember phoning her and just saying, it's time, because I don't know, if I don't do this, it might not end up so good. And so I think I was telling you earlier, I went to her place, and I was thinking that we were just going to go out in the forest and just walk around. I didn't know really what to expect. And I did all at the same time. But when I arrived, she was like, oh no, you're going in the sleeping bag, and you're putting an eye patch on, and you're like, you're going in. I was like, whoa. In
the forest?
No, in her home.
In her home, okay.
In her home.
I'm like, wow, this is pretty wild.
No, in her home. But, I just, again, I thought that I was just going to be like, doing this thing in the forest, and wasn't going to be like that. So we took the medicine around 7 at night, and ended up journeying until like 5 o'clock in the morning. And I think I moved through every single emotion, everything from sadness to grief to anger to like every single emotion. And for me, that was incredible, because I grew up in a home where there was a lot of you were to be seen and not heard. There was not a lot of physical touch. There wasn't a lot of, emotional connection. And I don't think that's dissimilar for a lot of families. And so this was just really beautiful for me to have the opportunity to like express all of my emotions. But this was the moment. I remember I think we went to sleep for like an hour, and then I woke up and we were debriefing, and my biggest takeaway was this piece about the anxiety and my kids. And that's when this big transformation happened, where I realized that I was living in victim, and I was blaming everybody else. And it was like, woe is me, woe is me. And it was like, oh man. So that was a big transformation for me, really big transformation. And, you know, I've had the opportunity to use other modalities as well, but I still do microdose, which is using like tiny, small amounts of psilocybin.
I do that. I love that.
Yeah. And it's so funny that like so many people are so afraid of like mushrooms and microdosing. You're going to be all crazy. And it's not. Mm-hmm. It's, for me, someone who lives with it or has lived with the anxiety their whole life and not even known it, to actually experience what it's like to not be anxious is so eye-opening. You're like, oh, because it doesn't make you all hallucinogenic. It just actually kind of takes away the anxiety. I don't even know how to explain it. And
it works on your default mode network, from what I understand.
Yeah.
Which is like the part of your brain that's in control of those negative thought loops.
Right.
Over and over again. It kind of breaks the cycle a little bit and gives a little bit of a gap.
Yeah.
For like new thoughts to come in.
Yeah.
So when you're working on yourself and you're like, just, oh, this anxiety, it's like, it helps it pause so that when you're working on yourself, these new thoughts can go in your head and sort of work their way into the loop. And eventually they take over the loop. You know, that's the way I sort of try to explain it.
Yeah.
Does that resonate with you?
I mean, I don't even know that I can articulate it. But for me, I just feel a lot calmer, a lot more like in my body. I don't feel like I don't feel like I'm so much up in my head all the time. Like, maybe like you're saying, thinking. I've moved away from that a little bit. But what I know about myself is the old me was just constantly in my head, trying to predict the future, so upset about the past and all the things that, you know, went on. I wish I could fix, and then I'm like, oh, worry about this. And it just helps me. I guess we keep saying it. I feel like it just brings me back to the present, the present moment.
Yeah.
And just helps me feel more grounded in my body. And so I love that. And it not only, for me, like, having the opportunity to feel what it feels like to not have anxiety is all part of the retraining. And that's the thing that I love, because I don't know about you, but I don't drink alcohol anymore. I used to drink a lot. It doesn't...
You have a lot of good reasons to drink.
Yeah. I used to drink a lot, and it absolutely was my crutch. And I've made a lot of bad decisions around alcohol. But yeah, when things were really hard, when we had first moved to Vancouver Island and...
Hey guys, it's Kid. A few years ago in 2022, I discovered a guy named Lee Whitley.
Cancer is coming to a fucking end real fast. I go to dinner parties with doctors. Don't stop, you got it. You're fucking right, I got it. Tell the people I got it.
Go to kidcarson.com, you'll discover Lee's oil.
My husband was going back and forth to the mainland, and I was at home with the kids by myself. We had bought this beautiful property at a dead-end street, which was incredible, except I was there by myself on 2.5 acres with this like little farm and 2 kids, and thinking that, you know, they were going to be like great close to the trees, and it kind of backfired a little bit.
You just felt isolated?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Very isolated.
Yeah.
And, you know, when you move to, you know, a new community, and both of my kids are not very social. They're actually the complete opposite of me and my ex-husband. We're very social human beings. And when you have kids, you meet people through your kids usually. And my kids weren't those, you know, in sports or soccer or anything. So
you're like at the park nudging your kids to go say hi to that kid so I can talk to their parents, right? I know, it's a whole thing, really.
Right? Yeah. And that wasn't a thing. So yeah, I just found that it was just a really difficult time to hold space for my kids and be on my own, and this new community, and trying to figure out all the things. And
so that bottle of Chardonnay looks pretty good.
It looks so good. And it wasn't great because then all of a sudden my ability to parent wasn't great. Because my son had a lot of big energy and I wasn't able to always calmly.
Yeah, you're just trying to keep the edge off yourself.
Yeah.
And then things blow up and you're like, how do I even handle this right now? Because I get it.
It wasn't good. It wasn't good. And
was it Chardonnay or was it what was your poison of choice back in the day?
I was definitely a Pinot Grigio.
Yeah, Pinot Grigio.
Yeah, the sweet. Yeah, I was the sweet. So now it's crazy. And I've always been a sensitive person. Like I think we were talking about that earlier. Like I don't even take aspirin. Like when I did my chemotherapy, my oncologist, we ended my chemo early because I just ended up in the hospital every time for like 8 days straight. No food, no water. My body couldn't tolerate it. And so we ended it early. And so I knew the alcohol wasn't serving me either. Like it's not good for you.
Yeah. We're just all trying to feel good.
I know.
In the shit. We're just trying to feel good. And sometimes it's the easiest thing. And that's why it's a problem for so many people.
I know. And I wish I could just like enjoy it. And now I know like even one glass for me, it just, it was a moment for me was, so it was just moved into my condo first night by myself since I separated with my ex-husband. And he had come by, picked up my kids, and drove away. Oh, I can feel myself being emotional. So off my kids go. I've been a stay-at-home mom now at this point for like 16 years. I homeschooled my kids for this point 6 years. And like I was there with them all the time. And then to like see them drive away, it was a big thing. So I was like, okay, I'm going to take myself out for dinner and I'm going to go across the street. I'm going to get myself a glass of wine and I'm going to write my journal and I'm going to do all these things. And so order my food, get my wine, and I'm about halfway through my wine and my dinner's done and I'm about to go write my journal. And then I could feel the wine kick in. And it was like all of a sudden what I wanted to write in my journal, it was like it went blank. And I was like, wow. I said, like, it's almost like it like cuts you off from source. Like for me, and that's the numbing, right? So it was like so like, it was one of those moments, kind of Twin Tower moments where it was so apparent to me that alcohol just cuts me off. I was like, wow, I don't think I need to do this anymore. And so that was a big moment for me. And I think letting go of the alcohol, and I haven't said that I completely let it go. If I'm going to go out and I know that there's a good wine and I'm going to enjoy it.
And you're not going to be journaling that night.
No, I'm not going to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, she's journal free tonight. Let's go.
Yeah. So like, yeah. So, and it's not to say like, whatever, like obviously.
You just recognize the certain things that are holding you back from really self-expressing.
Exactly.
And being able to like really deal with.
And for some people, like it, they can go out in the town and have a great time. But for my little sensitive body, it's just like, it's actually feels really good to not need something outside of myself to actually help me stay grounded.
Yes.
And that, I think, is the big thing to say out loud. Like, I think I've spent so much time in my whole life looking outside myself for the answers, whether it was alcohol to fix it, whether it was somebody else to fix it. And there's something amazing. I mean, I think each year as we grow and evolve now into my 50s, and it's so incredible to like literally be in this place where I am not worried about what everybody else thinks, not be looking outside all the time for somebody else to fix me, and actually have that self-trust. Not needing to like pick up the alcohol or whatever it is to numb the feelings. And so I think, and that brings me to like, the thing about feelings is, at least for me, I didn't want to feel them before. And I think a lot of us maybe can relate to this or maybe not.
There's a lot of feelings that
There's a lot of feelings.
the last handful of years that we would like to avoid.
Oh my gosh.
For sure.
Right? What if we could just actually pause and feel the feelings instead of numbing them or running away from them? I mean, this brings me full circle to this whole thing about me being busy before and this meeting someone that could keep up with me. Like, the busyness isn't necessarily about being productive. The busyness is also tied into another numbing. Like, I don't want to pause, because if I pause, damn, I'm going to like have that emotion come up and I'm going to feel it, and that's not going to be good, and that's going to be uncomfortable, and I don't like that. And so I'm just going to keep being busy, and I'm going to drink the wine when I stop for the day, because then I still don't have, like, it's just this ongoing perpetual of avoiding the feelings. And man, I think that was one of the most amazing things about when I went through the divorce initially. I was gifted, and don't even ask me how I manifested this, but I knew a girlfriend down the street, and she was friends with this wonderful family that owned these 4 buildings in the Comox Valley, and they had this penthouse suite that sat empty. And they gifted it to me for 3 months.
Amazing.
It was a download. It literally was a download. I was just like, again, I was feeling the feelings. I wasn't numbing. I was just being there in the mess of all of it. And I remember my neighbor down the street telling me one day when she was wheeling out her little suitcase, I was like, "Oh, where are you going?" She goes, "Oh, I got my friend, and she's doesn't live here, but she has got this beautiful penthouse suite that's just in Courtney, and it just sits empty." And literally got this download. I was like, "Oh, the penthouse suite." So I phoned
It's amazing,
Diane.
right? I love it when that happens.
I was like, "Do you think she would let me stay?" And she gave her a call, and she called me back, and she's like, "Yeah, you can stay there." And so I went back and forth in the house. When my ex was home, he would be there, and when he came home, so we, but yeah, like, manifest. But again, like, those things happen when we pause and we listen. And like, I love telling this story too. Like, it's kind of off topic, but we're talking about manifesting. And my daughter is absolutely obsessed with Taylor Swift. Like, absolutely obsessed with Taylor Swift.
It's a good thing or a bad thing?
Oh, it's a totally good thing.
Okay.
Totally good thing.
Okay.
And she, it was the Saturday, so there was 2 concert lists. There was the Saturday night and the Sunday night. And on Saturday, I phoned my daughter, and I said, she's 17. I said, "We're going to go to Taylor Swift." I had no idea, but I just got this download that we needed to get on the ferry, and that we were going to go to Taylor Swift, and we were going to find tickets, and we were literally going to be in front of the stage. And the old me would be like, no.
And you didn't have tickets?
I did not have tickets.
So you're telling your daughter somehow we're going to get in?
We're going to get in.
Wow.
Yeah, like, no tickets, going to get on the ferry. And so I posted on Facebook, I said, "I'm looking for tickets," and all these like random people that are trying to scam you and sell you tickets or whatever. I phoned my girlfriend. I call her Crazy Karen. I love her to bits. And she was going with her daughters, and they had tickets. So we jumped in with them, and we were heading downtown. We were on all the apps and checking all the things, and everyone downtown was holding up their phones going, "Need tickets, need tickets, need tickets." And it's like 45 minutes before the show. My daughter's like crying. She's like, "We're never going to get in." And these 2 guys.
I knew you were crazy, Mom.
Yeah, I knew you're crazy,
what were you
right?
thinking? Like, yeah.
And so 45 minutes before the show starts, there's these 2 guys holding up this big white sign that says "Need tickets?" ? And I got this like download. I was like, "Oh my gosh." I said, "Danielle, I think they're saying, do you need tickets?" Because nobody was going to these 2 guys. I go to them. We got their tickets. I paid a lot of money for those tickets, $3,000. But that was the best $3,000 that I ever spent.
And a memory for the rest of your life and your daughter's life.
Oh my, seriously, like, absolutely crazy. It was incredible. And we literally got almost directly in front of the stage. And
wow.
Yeah. And it was literally like, I watched her cry like the whole show. But again, this is where the numbing comes in, because those downloads would never have happened for me before. I wouldn't have been quiet enough, or I wouldn't have been tapped in enough to hear those downloads or even pay attention to them, but even follow through with them. Like, there's all the layers that go with that. But yeah, like, so all these things just keep magically unfolding because I get these ideas and these downloads because I'm more clear-headed and I'm more in the moment, instead of my head racing all the time, needing to be in control of everything that's happening in the future, or worrying about everything that was going on in the past. And that's back to this microdosing that we were talking about. It just allows you to be in the moment.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
So if you can take us back to, if someone's listening right now who is going through, like, being hit from all sides, you're like, what is this shitstorm of life that I'm in the middle of right now? And they're now anchored in becoming like a control freak because they're trying to control everything, because they're trying to fix everything. And you mentioned just surrendering. Can you give us maybe a practical tip of how that first step of surrendering, going from hanging on so tight to everything to surrendering, what was that like? Because the feelings that come up can be so, I've gone through it, so anxiety ridden that it's like, how do you keep yourself in the zone of surrendering at first, at least?
Yeah. So the word that's dropping in right now is community. I was raised, we're independent, we can do this alone, we got this, do. And one thing that cancer taught me is that there is so many people that want to help you. And, one of my coaches said this, like, I remember being in a class and he said, how many of you like to help your friends? And everybody put their hand up. Right? And then the next question was, and how many of you like to ask for help? Nobody put their hands up.
Yeah, it's wild, right?
Right? And it's like, if you look around the room and see all the hands up of the people that want to help you, why are we so afraid to ask for help? It's like we have this thing in our head that we're weak if we ask for help, or if we, go see a counselor, we're weak, or if we go get help, we're weak. And I just want to say that there are so many people out there that want to help you, and I want to encourage people to be brave enough to ask for that help, because you will be so surprised how many people show up. And it's, when I went through cancer, my girlfriend set up this website called Helping Hands, and it was such a beautiful platform to be able to share what was going on for me, and then have people come and bring food. And like, I remember even when I was moving out of my family home, and I just didn't know how I was going to get all the things done, and I reached out all my girlfriends, and I had 13 women come and help me clean my home on move-out day.
Wow.
And I have all the pictures of all these shoes lined up outside my door and all these cars up and down the road, and we cleaned that house. And it was a big house. It was over 3,000 square feet in just over an hour and a half.
Wow.
And not only did we clean it, but we had so much fun cleaning it. And then afterwards, all my girlfriends created a circle around me. Oh, I'm going to cry again. And just held space for me. And it's so beautiful when you can do these hard things with people around you that love you and celebrate you. And like, that's the thing, we have to have friends around you that celebrate you. And so, and whether you want to go the next level to that, like, even when I came in here today, I know I'm physically here by myself, but I am not like here by myself. All my girlfriends are here with me. All the people that hold space for me are here with me, in spirit, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And so in that sense, we're never alone. We're never alone. And so for me, like, a lot of where we get to these places where we're feeling so lost is when we get stuck in our little rabbit minds, and we're worrying about the future, and we're making thoughts about the past. And I guess I would just want to encourage everybody to ask for help, know that you're not alone, and it's not about that. I don't know how to articulate that, but it's you're not less than if you need to ask for help.
Mm-hmm.
It's an old mindset that we need to do this alone, and we're not meant to do this alone. We're meant to do this in community.
And it feels really good to help.
It does.
Like, so why would you rob your friends of that opportunity for them to help and feel amazing?
Right?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you said, everyone puts their hand up. Like, yeah, happy to help my friends.
Right?
Yeah, we got to get over this hump.
Yeah.
Especially when we're going through this loneliness thing that's going on with everyone's online and people aren't connecting in person. And yeah, we need to just reach out.
Yeah.
Feels good to help.
Yeah.
Wow, you got some good girlfriends there.
Amazing. I do have some incredible girlfriends, I have an incredible community of humans around me.
Yeah.
Very grateful. So
you've taken all of this experience and stories I'm sure we haven't even got to.
I know.
But now you're helping people.
Yeah.
You're out there saying, like, here, I've gone through the storm, now you're reaching back with a hand.
Yeah.
Give other people help and hope and inspiration to get through it too. Tell us what you're doing.
So right now I am speaking, I'm coaching, I'm facilitating women's circles. I do something also called Toolbox Tuesdays. So that is every Tuesday.
What's that? Toolbox Tuesday?
Toolbox Tuesday. So that started out over 3 years ago on episode 170 now. And it was just literally me so afraid 3 years ago going, I think I want to speak my truth and share what's on my heart. And I just remember getting online going, hi, I'm Shannon.
Was it on Instagram or
no, it was on
YouTube?
Facebook.
On Facebook?
Facebook.
Okay.
And being so afraid. And now it's evolved into this really, I've got quite a few followers now, which is quite amazing. And yeah, I just have so much fun with it. It's just an opportunity every week. I never know what I'm going to say. I just come on and say what's on my heart and what I've learned that week, because every week there seems to be more learning.
Right. And you're introducing a new tool.
A new tool.
New tool that you're using to level up yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so I feel like if it's helping me and if it's something that I've learned from, then somebody else is probably going to need it too. So the speaking is a big thing for me. The Toolbox Tuesdays, the storytelling. So that's what I want to do. I because I've had the opportunity to go through so many things in my life, I know that sharing my story will help a lot of people feel less alone and know that they can do hard things too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, I really want to help people reconnect with their truth, reclaim their joy, because there's a lot more joy that needs to be brought back into this world. And, again, want to remind people that it's okay to feel the hard things, because on the other side of that, there's a whole lot of joy, which is incredible.
Yeah.
And the thing is, too, when we go through these hard things, we can... that hard thing that you're stepping through and this hard things that I've been through, it's led me to exactly where I am and exactly where I'm meant to be. I didn't get on that TEDx stage because, I didn't have the opportunity to go through a lot of hard things. I got on that TEDx stage because I was brave enough to step through the hard things and come out on the other side. And that's why I'm here, and that's what I want to say out loud, and just encourage people that, we got this. You can do hard things, and there is something beautiful on the other side. There always is.
You're awesome. You're awesome. You're awesome. I don't know what else. You just put a beautiful bow on it perfectly. Where do people find you?
They can find me at Shannon, Donohoe-Simpson.com. You can find me on also on YouTube. I have all my Toolbox Tuesdays up on YouTube as well. if you want to check out my TEDx, you can just go to my website as well. And there's a really awesome article that just came out in the Comox Valley Collective, which shares the story that we didn't really get into too much, which was a beautiful journey around me healing through my double mastectomy.
Let's talk about that real quick. Do you want to talk about that?
Well, can we talk about that? Sure.
Yeah, share that with us.
Yeah, so so here's the download again. Remember, we were talking about the download? So literally was camping this summer and standing outside my tent, and my girlfriend Mel, who owns West Coast Karma, she had done henna and jaguar on her hands for my 50th birthday 2 years ago. And she said to me, she goes, Shannon, if you ever want to do some art across your mastectomy area, just for some ideas around getting a tattoo or something, I'd love to do that for you. So I'm standing outside the tent and I just get this download, and I was like, oof, kind of knocked me off my balance, and I was like, oh, it's time. So I literally pick up the phone in that moment. I phone my girlfriend Mel, and I have this incredible girlfriend, Meredith Rose, beautiful photographer. I phone Meredith and I said, I think I wanna capture this moment. And one of the things that I wanted to say out loud is on the other end of divorce, when you go through a double mastectomy, when you're in a relationship, you're in this place where it's safe and this person, but then all of a sudden when you're on the other side of divorce and you find yourself single, you're like, oh, my body's changed. I don't have my breasts anymore. It's a very feminine thing. Am I still whole? There's all these questions that come up. Am I still beautiful? Am I still attractive? Even though that, my body has changed. Mm-hmm. And so this was the whole process of why this felt so important for me. And so bringing Mel and Meredith together, and then had all my girlfriends. I picked 4 girlfriends to come and hold space for me. And so we went to my girlfriend's backyard, and I literally got to share my story out loud, from start to finish, as Mel was doing the art across my body and Meredith was doing the photography. And I can't tell you how many tears there were that night, just saying my story out loud and having my girlfriends. There's one thing to say your story out loud, but to be witnessed and say your story out loud is kind of next level. And that's why, again, I think circles, women's circles, whatever, men's circles are so powerful, because again, it's one thing to say the things, but another thing to be witnessed. And so that for me was a big healing journey around reclaiming what it is to be beautiful, and that it isn't about the physical body. It's about loving ourselves. And so this was about not painting myself to make myself be beautiful on the outside, but the reminder that beauty is within, and beauty is about me loving myself and not needing something outside of myself. And so to be witnessed in that whole process was so incredibly healing. And so I decided to share it with the local magazine, the Comox Valley Collective, and the photographs, I have to say, turned out so incredibly beautiful.
Yeah, they really did.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you've got the henna all across your chest, and not henna, and what's that thing called?
And jaguar.
And jaguar.
Yeah. Just it was a blend of henna and jaguar. And yeah, she just did a really beautiful job of taking something that I struggled with, that I felt was so ugly, and turn it into something so beautiful. And again, part of that process was being witnessed in that. So yeah, it was just a really beautiful thing to be part of. And again, that piece back to community again. You know, we're not alone. We don't have to do this alone. Yeah, and so it's kind of been like, it's just kind of brought all the pieces together for me, and it's put it all together in one spot, and I feel like now this is where I'm going to run with this. I've just got a lot of things that I want to say, and I know that, like you said before, because I've had the opportunity to be in the depths of the depths, you know, I hope people can trust me, and I've found a lot of trust in myself, and there's going to be something incredibly beautiful moving forward. And I don't know what it all is yet, because that's the thing, you know, the old me would need to like have everything all like in a row. And now it's just like, okay, what's next?
Surrender.
Surrender.
Yes.
Right back to the word
Right
surrender.
back to the full loop, full circle.
Surrender, right?
Yes.
So good.
Yeah, I think big things are ahead for you.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
High five.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Shannon, this was a great conversation.
Yes.
Thanks for trusting me to host your story.
Yeah, and
Appreciate
thanks
it.
for holding space for me.
Right. Hey, it's Kid. First of all, I'm so grateful you're here listening to this episode. I'd love to be able to share announcements with you, events, things coming up. Please join my email list from kidcarson.com.